There is a type of creature in this world. They've been spotted by a few people, but never officially recognized. We call these creatures unidentified mysterious animals, or UMA for short. Hello everyone, and welcome to the World in 10 Minutes video series. In this episode, we'll be talking about a large, mysterious creature from the UK, the Dean Monster. Gloucestershire is located in the southwest of England, covering an area of 2,600 square kilometers. It's known for its beautiful natural environment and a strong livestock industry. In the early 19th century, rumors began to spread about a strange, large creature appearing in the area. The story goes that in 1802, many locals reported that the Forest of Dean, in the western part of the region, was being damaged by an unknown creature. This creature was said to have incredible strength, able to knock over trees, crush fences, and even destroy nearby enclosures. At night, residents living near the forest often heard it let out terrifying roars. Eyewitnesses described it as resembling an unusually large wild boar, with one or even two pairs of huge tusks and covered in thick black fur. This creature was later called the Dean Monster. At the same time, wild bears were becoming extinct in the UK. Some speculated that the local bears in Gloucestershire may have already become prey for the Dean Monster. 5 years later, in 1807, locals, fed up with the destruction, formed a hunting party to kill the creature. However, historical accounts vary. Some say it was a single hunter from the village of Parkend who managed to bring it down. After the creature was captured, hunters examined it and agreed it did not match any known species. Although there are few detailed records about its exact appearance, sightings completely stopped after this event. Still, people living near Parkend and Bream villages claimed they could hear the same eerie roaring sounds at night. Locals suspected that perhaps another Dean Monster was still roaming the forest. Time passed, but nearly 2 centuries later, a new sighting would once again bring the legend of the Dean Monster back into the spotlight. In 1998, 2 local men, James Nash and Marshall Davies, had a nighttime encounter with the creature while walking through the woods between Parkend and Bream. According to their account, the forest suddenly fell completely silent, and a low growling sound from a beast gradually grew closer, then faded again. They heard rustling noises as something heavy moved across the leaves. Moments later, a massive black figure emerged from the trees. They couldn't clearly describe what they had seen, only that the creature was enormously large, far beyond anything they had ever imagined. Driven by fear, they turned and ran for their lives. The creature chased them all the way until they reached a well-lit road in Parkend village. There, the beast stopped. They immediately heard it let out a huge roar, but it did not show itself again, as if it had simply wanted to defend its territory and scare them away. That was the last known sighting of the creature. Interestingly, the Dean Monster made an appearance in pop culture. In 2007, the British sci-fi TV series Primeval Season 1, produced by ITV, featured a creature inspired by the Dean Monster. In the show, it was depicted as a prehistoric beast from the Permian period that had traveled through time to the present day. Primeval aired for 5 seasons until 2011. It had a great storyline, worth checking out if you're curious. Also, there was another reported sighting in 2005, covered by Orange News, but the description of the creature was so different from the 2 previous cases that it's often dismissed and rarely discussed. By now, some of you might be thinking, it's just a wild boar, what's so scary about that? Well, here's a reminder. Wild boars are nothing like domestic pigs. They're highly aggressive and far more dangerous than bears. They can weigh over 300 pounds, about 140 kilograms, and run at speeds up to 40 kilometers per hour, 25 miles per hour, easily capable of killing a grown adult. They're omnivores, meaning they eat almost anything, which is why they often show up near farmlands.
So, if you ever come across one in the wild, don't provoke it. Try to move to higher ground or escape into dense forest where it can't see you clearly. As for whether the Dean monster really exists, after hearing all this, you probably have your own thoughts. But one thing's for sure, the 19th century witnesses described something unlike any creature they had ever seen.
It's not that wild boars are rare, but rather because wild boars as a species were already extinct in the UK as early as the 13th century. They were reintroduced around the same period, but by the 17th century, due to habitat loss and excessive hunting, they became extinct once again. From the 17th century to the 1980s, the only wild boars in Britain were those kept in captivity, usually brought in from mainland Europe as zoo exhibits. So for nearly 300 years, there were no wild boars living freely in the wild in the UK. That means if the Dean monster really existed, it must have survived for a very long time while avoiding hunters and their rifles. Moreover, given its huge size, finding enough food would also be a serious challenge. That said, giant wild boars aren't unheard of in other parts of the world. For example, in June 2004, in the state of Georgia, USA, a wild boar over 8 feet long and weighing over 800 pounds, about 360 kilograms, was shot and killed by a hunter named Chris Griffin. The boar was nicknamed Hogzilla because of its massive size. Then, in May 2007, in Alabama, an 11-year-old boy named Jamison Stone shot and killed an even larger wild boar with a handgun. That boar weighed 1,051 pounds, about 477 kilograms, and was 9.4 feet, about 2.9 meters long, a true giant beast. Who knows what such a massive wild boar would need to eat to grow to that size? Reports like these can be found all over the world. As for whether the creature seen in 1998 in Gloucestershire was really a giant wild boar, there's still no clear answer. At the very least, in boar extinct Britain, it has never received any official recognition. Maybe, deep within these thick forests, there really is a large unknown species we've yet to discover. After all, the unknown is always greater than the known. All right, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching.